Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Day 2, 7-on-7 defense, right? So if you didn't get a chance to see what's going on, I am doing a 7-on-7 team from 2003 to 2013 and 2013 to 2023. And once I put both teams together, I'm just going to do a hypothetical breakdown of what I feel like the strengths and the weaknesses are of both teams and what I feel like would be the end result if both teams were to play each other in a 7-on-7 game. Just something fun, just something fun to do in the off season. And again, like I say, I love college football, so these are just a lot of the things that I like to do and some of the things that I like to talk about, right? So, on defense, right? So I'm going 2 linebackers and I'm going 5 defensive backs, right? So at the linebacker position, I'm going Patrick Willis and I'm going Jonathan Vilma, right? Patrick Willis was a freak of nature. I know a lot of people pass around that picture of Sean Oakman from Baylor, but Patrick Willis was chiseled. You hear me? Patrick Willis was chiseled. And I think he was one of the first linebackers that, started to usher in that linebacker that could play downhill as well as get back in the passing lanes and play coverage, right? Jonathan Vilma, an all-time great from the U, was another good linebacker that could, get out and play, play coverage and things like that. But again, like I said, in a 7-on-7 setting, I think those are 2 of the linebackers that would do good. And again, like I said, when you're talking about a decade from 2003 to 2013, there's a ton of linebackers that, could have been a selection. But again, in my opinion, those are just the 2 guys that I would want on my squad. Now, at one corner position, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, such a special player that LSU commemorates great players with the number 7. So that just goes to show the type of player that he was at the collegiate level. A great player. At the at the end of the day, just an overall great player. At the other safety position, I'm going with DeAngelo Hall. DeAngelo Hall, Virginia Tech Hokie, self-proclaimed to be the next Deion Sanders because he felt he was as fast as Deion, but it did not necessarily go that way once we get to the NFL. But from a collegiate level, DeAngelo Hall was a very, very good corner. Was fast as all get out. And DeAngelo Hall is the one who, going into the 2003 season against the Miami Hurricanes, he was the one that basically forecast that the U was over. I remember seeing a clip a while back, and I was like, man, DeAngelo Hall is your fault and his other people's fault as well. But DeAngelo Hall, he talked a big game, and I think in a 7-on-7 setting, if you got a guy that you cannot get on top of, you're in a great position. And slot corner, there's a lot of options there. You got Honey Badger. You could put maybe Pac-Man Jones there, another good guy. But I'm going with a guy that was one of my favorite Virginia Tech Hokies. Probably my favorite Virginia Tech Hokie. That's Macho Harris. Macho Harris, cornerback for the Virginia Tech Hokies. I just loved watching Macho Harris play. Was one of the first names that I remember hearing about, in college. I was like, man, Macho. Obviously he didn't play for the University of Miami, but I respected him. And that was really when Virginia Tech was kind of at its peak in terms of a program, right? And Macho Harris, as well as DeAngelo Hall, were 2 of those particular guys. So at safety position, a no-brainer. We're going with Sean Taylor at one particular safety position. What can I say about Sean Taylor, right? Mr. Everything. Was robbed of the Thorpe Award. You know what I'm saying? Was robbed of the Thorpe Award, but was a guy that could just do it all. Could play back D, could play close to the line of scrimmage. But I feel like in this 7-on-7 setting, he would be right in his wheelhouse. And at the other safety position, I'm going with Eric Berry, University of Tennessee. Eric Berry was a guy. Eric Berry was a guy. When I say a guy, I'm not talking about like a jag. Like he was a guy. Like he was a dude. Eric Berry, I'm gonna be honest with you. Eric Berry was one of the first players, because me and Eric Berry are around the same age. And matter of fact, I think maybe Eric Berry, because Eric Berry, and Patrick Peterson all around the same age. Did Eric Berry and Patrick Peterson come out the same year? I don't really remember. But Eric Berry is probably one of the first players I remember actually, from a recruiting standpoint, paying attention to his recruitment and how they talked about, man, Eric Berry had the ability to where Eric Berry probably could have played wide receiver. Eric Berry could lock up at man coverage. And it was a big get for the University of Tennessee to get Eric Berry, right? So, hey, put him at safety. Again, it's so many guys, man. When you think about from 03 to that time, I mean, Michael Huff played for the University of Texas. He was a first-round draft pick, a good one. He ended up playing for my Vegas Raiders. There was a couple more guys from the University of Texas secondary. Some guys from the University of Miami, Kenny Phillips, Randy Phillips, Brandon Merriweather. But I went with ST, and I didn't want to make it an all-Cane secondary. Another guy, one of my all-time favorite Canes, Antrell Rowe. You know what I mean? A guy that I could have put at one of the corner positions. But again, like I said, it's just so many guys, man, from that particular decade, offensively and defensively, that it's hard to put a list together. But those are my guys, right? I got, again, so running back now, Patrick Willis, Jonathan Vilma at my linebackers. I got Patrick Peterson at one corner, Macho Harris in the slot, D'Angelo Hall at the other corner position. I got Sean Taylor and Eric Berry at my safeties. Again, you know, you guys let me know what y'all think in terms of the defense. You know what I'm saying? Some guys that, you know, some guys that y'all liked a lot. Or maybe somebody who y'all think could, could have bumped somebody out the way, right? But again, these are just some guys that I like watching play, and I admire their game, right? So as always, man, like, share, and subscribe. And we got 2 Ks on the defense. Got 2 Ks on the defense, right? Got 2 Hokies as well. But it's still all about that man. I'm out.